Hello everyone, it's great to see you again, and I cannot believe that we are at almost 59,000 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for tapping the bell icon to receive notifications, and thank you for posting comments. I know from the comment section that many of you are on a gluten-free diet. Today, we are going to make some delicious gluten-free scones. And if the weather holds out, we can enjoy the scones with a cup of tea out in the garden. For the scones, you will need some gluten-free flour. Now, I have experimented with King Arthur Measure for Measure gluten-free flour, and also this Cup for Cup gluten-free flour. Although both flours worked very well, I have to say that the Cup for Cup behaved more like all-purpose flour when I was mixing the dough. So this is what I'm going to use today. And we need 3 cups of it, or 360 grams. I'm going to weigh my flour. To the flour, add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 cup, or 67 grams, of regular granulated sugar. I can remove my scale now, and then whisk. You'll be glad to know that we do not have to cut butter into this flour. Instead of butter, I'm going to use all cream. This is 1½ cups, or 350 mils of cream, and I'm going to add about a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to the cream. That was exactly 1 teaspoon. Add the cream to the flour while stirring. I will link this recipe in the description below. Yeah, this is so much easier than cutting butter into flour. Because after all, what is butter? It's cream. I experimented with a lot of different scone recipes last weekend. Mr. Fox loved all of them, but this was the version that I preferred. Okay. Let me fetch my pastry cloth. I will link this cloth in the description below. Now, if you have any dry bits of flour remaining in the bowl, as I do, instead of adding them to this mix, just add a little more cream to moisten the dry bits. Scrape off the spatula. If you are not on a gluten-free diet, you can, of course, make these scones with regular all-purpose flour. Or you can just follow one of my many scone recipes. This will be a fairly sticky dough. Form it into a ball, flatten it, sprinkle a little flour on top. Then we're going to roll this out to about a 1-inch thickness. I always keep a ruler in the kitchen. We are at 1 inch. I'm going to put a little flour over here in the corner. I'm going to use my 2-inch fluted biscuit cutter to cut out rounds. I am putting the rounds on a parchment-lined baking sheet. If the scones are sticking to your cutter, just dip it in some flour. Be sure to push the cutter straight down without twisting it. If you twist the cutter, it can interfere with the scone's ability to rise. And I'm spacing these, 3 in a row on the baking sheet. Re-roll the scraps. Actually, you don't even have to roll the scraps out. You can just pat them. Again, we're looking for 1-inch thickness. Too thick. This should make at least 12 scones. I'm just going to roll up the remaining bit of dough. So we'll have 2 very little scones. Now I want to brush the scones with some cream. The cream will help the scones to brown in the oven. During that intro, I showed you the lilacs in the garden. They are so fragrant. I really wish you could smell them. For a finishing touch, I'm going to top the scones with some demerara sugar. This is a coarse sugar that offers some wonderful crunch, sweet crunch. To ensure that these scones hold their shape during baking, pop them into the freezer for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius. My scones have been in the freezer for 15 minutes, so they are nicely chilled. I'm going to pop them into the oven now and let them bake until they puff and brown lightly on the top. That's going to take from 12 to 15 minutes. Do your thing, scones. While the scones are baking, I'm going to whip up some cream. Scones are ready. Oh my, they look fabulicious. I'm very happy with these scones. Even the little ones came out nicely. I'm going to let these cool for just a little bit while I brew up some tea. This is my favorite Earl Grey tea. It comes from Tierra Farm. Now I want you to look at these scones and notice how all of them are standing proudly upright. There are no leaning towers of Pisa among them, and that is because we put these scones in the freezer for 15 minutes before baking them. Move this out of the way so you can see. Look at how easily the scones split in half. I always put this on my plate first. Marmalade jam. Little cream. The texture of these scones is slightly more bready than scones made with wheat flour, but they are still absolutely wonderful. To my friends who are on a gluten-free diet, please know that you too can enjoy scones for afternoon tea. All you need is some gluten-free all-purpose flour and a sense of adventure. Thank you for joining me for tea and scones today, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye for now.